Thank you. Okay, so my name's Adam Laurie. Quick intro, what I do, who I am. So I work for Aperture Labs. We're a hardware reverse engineering company. Do a lot of assurance work, currently looking a lot at smart meters and stuff, but basically we do embedded systems. I'm also a long-time DEF CON goon. I've been doing DEF CON for about 20 years. I'm their quartermaster, which basically means I'm responsible for all the gear and stuff. If you're ever in London, I run the London DEF CON chapter last Tuesday of the month, so next Tuesday. It's a walk-in. Schedule's always on this site, dc4420.org. So everyone's welcome. We have a couple of speakers normally every month, and about 100 people turn up, so it's a good opportunity for networking if you're in the London hacker scene or security scene. So, at Christmas, Mike Osman and Dominic SKEWL gave me a Hack RF, which is a very cool device. If any of you are into software-defined radio, you probably know about it. And so I decided to put something together using it just to show my appreciation. And it's just an amazingly cool toy, basically. So what this talk is about is attacking your TV. So you're sitting at home watching TV, and you're receiving your signal either via terrestrial antenna or via satellite, watching some family-friendly cartoon, obviously. If your TV is also connected to the internet, so this attack is actually aimed not just at smart TVs, but a lot of TVs, even before proper smart TVs came along, had an internet connection, mainly so they could do firmware updates and stuff. So this attack actually targets, not just smart TVs, but every TV in the UK, basically. So what we're going to do is introduce the bad guy. He's going to transmit to your TV, so sitting outside, again, through your antenna. So, you have either, as I say, your roof antenna or your satellite dish. So that's the attack medium. And then he's going to create a connection back to himself over the internet if your TV is internet connected. If it's not internet connected, I have a different attack, but you'll see that in the demos. Okay. So yeah, I'm going to be doing live demos. So demo gods, please smile on me. Okay, so why am I doing this? I've been doing a lot of, a series of TV hacks. Started in hotels playing with the infrared system. So I was curious if you brute forced the command space of the infrared in your hotel room, what could you find? What other features were enabled on the TV? Obviously, the first thing I was looking for was free pay-per-view, or free porn, basically. Other in-room services, minibar. I was quite surprised how much stuff was connected through the TV. So your minibar, when you took something out, registered and through a system that was using the same back end as the TV. You can check out sometimes on your TV. So I had a lot of fun with that, like registering my TV in a different room, checking people out, and setting a wake-up call so they'd have plenty of time to deal with the problem in the morning. So, and actually, you could get all the billing and stuff. And scarily, in some hotels, I ended up actually managing a bunch of the back-end servers, so they would have a Microsoft, IIS or something server, which they used for all kinds of stuff like the info screens when you walk into the hotel. And I could upload my own images onto those screens. So Goatsy gets a day out. So yeah. I then did some stuff with satellite. Again, free pay-per-view, obviously. And that was interesting. We were finding feeds. So basically, if there's a live event like Formula One or a boxing match in Vegas or something like this, this would normally be transmitted to the headquarters of the TV company via a different satellite, and then mixed and edited and then rebroadcast on pay-per-view. And if you could find the original live stream, you could just tap into that. This was a long time ago. Actually, at the time, Princess Diana had just died in Paris, and we found some live feeds from journalists out there who were literally sat in their hotel room with a camera and a mic, because they had to be ready. If a story broke, they had to be ready to they couldn't be messing around setting up feeds. So that feed was just running 24/7. And they'd every now and then they'd get up, do up their tie, do their piece to camera, and then being journalists who are used to being around cameras and mics, they just forget about it. So we were just watching what was going on in this hotel room. For kind of interesting. Found a lot of data feeds as well. So there are some plugins you can put in. So you take your satellite feed, create a virtual Ethernet port, and then dump it through Wireshark. And again, that was pretty fascinating what was out there. I then did some talks receiving DVB. So we switched off analog in the UK a few years ago. All the channels are now digital. So I was curious, what else is there? Free pay-per-view, obviously. And that got me really interested. There are a couple of channels that are doing adult content, shall we say, and they were trying to monetize that. So how do you restrict access to a broadcast medium where there's no back channel? And what they were doing was using a premium rate phone number to provide an unlock code, which would then retune your TV to the right channel. And I was really curious how that worked, so I wanted to break that system. So that's when I started looking into it. And it turned out they're using this standard called MHEG, and MHEG is what we're going to talk about today. So this is MHEG. I'll just let you read that because it's kind of boring. Basically, it's like teletext on steroids. Okay, so you can do way more with it. Teletext is just block letters and block graphics. With MHEG, it's more like a proper structured language. You can embed video, audio, you can do graphics, all kinds of stuff. So in the UK, if you want to be Freeview compliant, so Freeview is the standard for UK digital television, then you have to be compliant to this book, which defines the standard for MHEG and what the TVs have to do. You can only read the book if you join the group, but like all these things, it's based on standards. So if you go to the ratification process websites, you can get the final versions of everything that ended up being the members only book. So it is publicly out there if you dig enough. And this is basically the hierarchy, what it does. So you've got various data feeds, and the thing that interested me here, and the reason that this talk is called the black button pivot, is the system in the UK is known as red button. So it's Freeview, but the MHEG content is known as red button because when you press the red button on any BBC channel, up comes some stuff that you can then start playing with. And I noticed that in the standard, they have a hypertext entry point. So this means that you can be delivering internet content, and that's when it became interesting. So the pivot is pivoting from your analog signal hitting your antenna to an actual connection over the internet. So this was the talk I gave about receiving data. It was called Porn Free because it was about getting free porn, obviously. Being hackers, we have no boundaries, so we don't care how taboo the subject is. We'll dive in anyway. If you want to watch it, you can see it on that YouTube link. I'm going to cut to the chase, so I'll skip most of it, but I want to show you the technical attack on how they were using MHEG to protect the content. And warning, there is a little bit of nudity in this, nothing more than you would see on a south of France beach, but if you're easily offended, look away towards the end of the clip. Okay. So what's going to happen here is, it all happens reasonably fast, so I'll explain in advance what's going to happen. So basically, what I've done is downloaded the MHEG, and I'm running a software version of what's going on inside the TV. So in one window, it's displaying what you would see on the TV screen. And what you'll see is it comes up with like a holding screen and a challenge, and it says, here's a magic number, dial this premium rate number, type in that challenge, and you'll get back an unlocked pin. Okay. And this was the bit I was curious about, how does that actually work? So my software decoder that's playing the output stream, I literally added one line of debugging. So what you're seeing in the other screen is whenever there was an arithmetic operation, I spit out what that operation is and what the numbers involved were. Okay. So the bottom window is the debugger. This is the splash screen that comes up. So it's saying send 642-241 or 421 to this number or dial. So down here, it's compared. I just typed in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it actually popped up the number it was comparing to. So it told me the answer, basically. And that's all you need to see of that. Okay. So yeah, it just unlocked. And I debugged the code further and figured out what their algorithm was. And it was literally kind of a 12-step crappy math thing. So what was actually going on? So basically, quick primer on how digital TV works. You have different streams called elemental streams, or PEZs. And within those, they get gathered together into a PID. So the PID is the program ID. So program 15234 is the adult channel. And in that, there's a list of, in the program association table, there's a list of elemental streams that are there. So what's happening is these guys are broadcasting a dummy audio and video stream with nothing in it. And then alongside that, they've got two more audio and video streams that are not mentioned in the association table, but there's also some MHEG. So the MHEG loads, it does its thing, it gets you to dial the premium rate number, and then once you've validated, it then says, okay, now I'm going to tell the TV to view these elemental streams instead of the ones that it actually tuned to. So if you had a smart enough TV, you could just tell it, tune to these streams instead of those, and you would have free access to the porn, obviously. So that's what's going on under the hood. Does that make sense so far? Yeah? Okay. Cool. So we figured it out, and it was like, okay, well, that was easy, and there's better porn on the internet anyway, so never need to look at that again. So how exactly do you do this? So I use a standard DVB-T dongle, so just cheapo USB dongle. There's a bit of software called RB or Red Button, which you can download from SourceForge. And this is a complete implementation of all the Red Button code, effectively all the MHEG support infrastructure. So RB download will just capture the data for you. It will find the MHEG PIDs in the stream, and it will pull them out, and it will create all the individual files that make up this application. It also has authoring tools in it, so you can compile MHEG code and you can test it, and it has the player. So the player I was using in that clip was from this same suite. So everything you need to really understand what's going on under the hood. So what's in there? Basically, you've got three things: images, certs or other data files, and the binary executable, which is it's actually an interpreted language. It's stored in ASN1, so effectively you've got source code. So the images, when you download, this is the kind of data structure you get. For each service, you get a directory. So 15232 is the adult channel, as I said. That links to a bunch of files in what they call a carousel. If you look in the carousels directory, then again, it's just, file number 12345, but it's then translated to the name that was used in the code. Okay, so it's all very sensible structures, very easy to understand. And of course, you get some really interesting stuff like certificates and TLS keys and so on, which obviously is fun. So the images are just images, so they can use them in the displays. Certificates are obviously certificates. This looks like X509, but I can't get my X509 decoder to decode it, so I'm still playing with that, but it's going to be some standard that they mention somewhere. The raw code, again, binary, but if you decode it, it looks like that. It's all nicely laid out, easy to understand. And as you see in this one, we've got an HTTP link. So this is actually going to load some content from outside. And .ts is a transport stream. So if you think back to the slide where I was showing you how a TV program is put together, same thing. So that's the same data stream. So anything you can embed in a transport stream can be received by the MHEG decoder and just passed to the tuner and played as if it had come in over the antenna. So what are the vulnerabilities? So because I can force the TV to connect back to the internet, I can reveal your IP address. So I now have a vector for attacking you. You're sitting at home, anonymous to me. I have no way of knowing what your IP address is of that home, but if I get you to connect back to me, then I know what your IP address is. Maybe I can send you, obviously I can send you malicious content. I can change the images and the data streams that you're looking at. They don't have to be signed. So within the MHEG code itself, it decides whether to trust that data or not. But even if it does, I can send you the appropriate certificate, so you will trust it. So I haven't played around with buffer overflows and so on. For me, this is more kind of proof of concept. It's like, well, okay, I've proved that I can create this channel. What the actual attacks are, well, that's up to guys who understand that stuff more than me. I'm not a network attack guy. And this is the main point. So the trust model is, there's a bunch of things to do with certification if it comes in from the internet, but if it comes in through the antenna, always trusted, okay? There is no, the standard says you must trust what comes in through the antenna. And why not? Because obviously the Queen wouldn't send you bad stuff, right? So we trust the BBC. Yeah, standard says that's fine. So as I mentioned, I'm going to do a bunch of live demos. So just in case they go horribly wrong, this is what's supposed to happen. So this is my kind of journey through figuring out, can I be the broadcast company? So I started by just broadcasting my own webcam. So can I generate a stream of data, send it? Can I take an existing transport stream, send that? Can I capture a broadcast transport stream and replay that? Can I do that live? So capture with one device, stream it with the other. And then moving on to the data services, can I do the same thing but with embedded MHEG, create my own MHEG and so on? So in the slides, which I've given to these guys so you can have them afterwards, I guess they'll be on the website, I've put the detailed command. So don't worry if I'm going too fast in the demos to see what I'm actually doing. Everything I'm doing is in the slides. So if you want to go home and replicate this. I haven't yet tested it against DVB-S, which is satellite, and DVB-C, which is cable, but there's no reason it shouldn't work. It's all the same standard. I just have to tweak the frequency and possibly the modulation slightly. So these are the tools. HackRF1, as I mentioned. All the software is open source, so I haven't written one line of code for this. I'm lazy, so I just cobble stuff together with other people's code. Maybe put a debugger in here or there. The dongle, yeah, it's just a cheapo. Looks, it's no bigger than a USB memory stick, really. And that's all you need to receive the data. We did actually find, we found a bug in GNU Radio and fixed it. So was that mentioned there? Yep. Yeah, that should be in the main stream by now. But. So a couple of things. So the way I'm doing my testing, this is a set-top box. So if you had one of these in the UK, if you got an old analog TV, or you've just got a monitor and you want to watch broadcast TV, you would plug something like this in. Standard TV antenna going up to the roof. All I've done is taken a wall panel, which you would normally, wire into your structured cabling, and I've connected an SMA cable to the back of it. So that's just converting my TV antenna to the HackRF. To be legal, obviously you can't transmit. But if you're transmitting in a closed system, that's perfectly legal. And being white hats, we would never do anything illegal, obviously. So that's the main consideration. However, I suspect if you use not too much power and a normal antenna, you would easily override the signal that's being received from 20 miles away. So it's just a suspicion. Yeah, so keep your gain low so you don't blow up your TV, because who wants to buy a new 60-inch TV, right? Okay, so as I said, I've put all these in, but I'm going to go to the demos and hopefully everything will work. Okay, so the first demo is we're going to start a receiver in one window. And then I'm going to use AVConf to capture my webcam and send it to that receiver. Okay, now during this, so this is the output of the TV on the other screen. And during this demo, I'm going to have to retune for each demo. If I was attacking your home, so someone asked me, I gave this talk to a small group in London, and one of the questions was, yeah, but if you have to keep retuning the thing, that doesn't work. I mean, yeah, you could stand outside with your own remote and retune their TV, but in practice, I would match my signal to what was that particular home was already tuned to. And it will only be one of 4 or 5 transponder frequencies and sets of data that they'll be looking at. So this is just for the demos. I have to do this. So, and this is going to be really hard because I can't see what's going on. Yeah, if you want to turn up the volume on the receiver now, that would be great. So. Set up. Automatic. I can't switch off the parental control. I don't know why. Okay, so I'm going to start scanning. This is why I get really nervous. Of course, this works every time in the hotel room, but... Okay, excellent. Okay, so in theory, it should be. Yay. Cool. Yeah, so suddenly if you see me waving on your TV, you know I'm sat outside in the car. Okay, so for the rest of the demos, I'm going to use GNU Radio Companion. Which is... For those unfamiliar with software-defined radio, this is what enables complete noobs like me who know nothing about analog to do cool stuff with SDRs. Okay, you just draw block diagrams, you drop in inputs and outputs, and then magic happens, you know, and stuff comes out. So what this does is it generates Python, which is then executed for you. So I've got a number of different pre-recorded transport streams, and each time I'm just going to enable the next one and start transmitting. So if I kick this one off, again, we have to retune the TV. Even though it's coming up.
Hey, is that new?
Actually, I don't even need to retune for this one. There's only one channel, and this is just to check. So this is a existing transport stream with an audio channel. So cool, yeah, I can. This is the kind of stuff I watch at home.
Hello, I'm a huge.
Okay. So disable that one. Enable that one. So the next question was, can I transmit a stream that has multiple channels and data services and all that stuff already in there? So
This is the very first time they've had to find a house for just the two of them. So their search continues. And fingers crossed, it won't be too long before they've found their new home in
turn it
Devon.
up a little
See you
bit.
next time on Escape to the Country.
Just a little bit, yeah.
If you'd like to escape to the country, and thank you for your help.
So this is on a loop. It's just, so this is an entire transponder. So when your TV's tuning,
It turns out
it's
Barry and
tuning to
Jackie
one
liked
of,
elements
you
of
know,
all
3 or
of our
4
properties, but none of them
transponders,
individually
which each have a
quite
bunch of
hit the
multiplex
spot, and that
channels.
was
So as
really
well as
down to location.
the multiple
Their
streams within a
hesitation is
program,
understandable.
you've
This
also
is a
got
major
multiple
move for them.
programs.
Their nest is
So
emptying,
here
and this
I've
is
got
the very first time they've had to find a house.
BBC,
Of 1950 Southport,
BBC
which led
Two.
to the bright lights of the showbiz world.
If you'd like to escape
the
to the
CPU load on my machine
for your help.
should be almost nothing.
It turns out Barry and Jackie liked
where am I
elements of all
monitoring?
3 of our properties, but none of them individually quite hit the spot, and that was really down to location. Their hesitation is understandable. This is a major move for them. Their nest is emptying, and this is the very first time they've had to
I'm
find
just
a house
passing
with just
data
the two
to
of them.
the
So their
hack
search
RF, and the hack
continues.
RF is
And
doing
fingers
all the
crossed,
work.
it won't be too long before they've found their new home in Devon. See you next time on Escape to the Country.
So yeah, this is, we're currently sending, like, I forget what it said, 10 TV channels and 16 radio channels, or the other way around, and not even breaking a
It turns
sweat.
out Barry
So
and Jackie liked elements of all
pretty
three
amazing
of our
stuff.
properties, but
So
none
this
of
is
them
an example
individually
of
quite hit the spot,
if a
and that
channel's
was
not
really
actually
down to
broadcasting at the
location.
time,
Their hesitation
then
is
you'll get a little bit of
understandable. This is a
MHEG
major
popping
move
up
for them.
to tell
Their
you.
nest is emptying, and this is the
Sometimes
very
you get
first
another
time they've
audio
had to
channel
find a
bleeding
house
in,
with just the two of them.
and actually
So their
sometimes
search
they use
continues.
that as a
And
message
fingers
to
crossed,
say
it won't
you
be
need
too
to
long
retune your
before they
TV
found their new home
because
in
they're moving
Devon.
things
See you next
around.
time on Escape
So
to
the
the
screen
Country.
will actually say, if you can hear
If you'd like to escape
an
to the
audio
country,
channel from
thank
another
you for
channel,
your
then
help.
please retune. Or if you can see an image behind this, then please retune. So that's
It turns
kind
out
of
Barry and
deliberate.
Jackie.
The other thing that's potentially interesting, I guess, is... Sorry. So this is really hard looking at to see. So what's interesting here is you can see the signal strength isn't that good, but the quality is nearly 100%. So we're sending, the hack RF is doing a really good job of sending that data stream. Like the error rate is absolutely minuscule. So yeah, at first I thought I had to worry about getting the power up, but not at all. You can actually deliver a really low power signal and still get a working stream. So this is really good from the point of view of if I want to do this in practice and beam it to someone's home antenna, I probably don't have to amplify it that much to override the external signal. Find another BBC channel. So yeah, I mean, it just blows me away that I can transmit 10 TV channels and
Recruit overseas teachers.
16 radio channels.
The House of Commons was rebuilt.
You suggest
Okay, and if we go back to BBC One,
Quite hit the spot, and that was really down to location. Their hesitation is understandable. This is a major move for them.
So
Their
in
nest
theory,
is
if I hit
emptying,
the red
and this is the
button-
very first time they've had to find a house for just the two of them.
This is when it
So their
doesn't work.
search continues, and fingers crossed it won't be too long before they've found their new home in Devon. See you next time on Escape to the Country.
let's try BBC Two.
And Ginger Rogers
Yeah.
dancing over it right now.
Yeah.
Me through, right up to heaven.
Thank you.
Hello gods, why do you hate me?
Len and Arlene.
You know what, Len? You're no 7.
Nah.
You are
Oh,
a
here we
10.
Oh, ho, ho.
Okay, so
On we
we're,
go.
as well as all the sound and video, we're also transmitting
Today I've seen why
the whole
Arlene
red
was
button
attracted.
stream.
Harriet has won it! Last minute of stoppage time!
And that can include other programming.
This break
So,
count. I think there's onside. It's Ollie Watkins.
so yeah, we seem to have all the elements to do what we want to do. So, sorry, boring process again. So no Hacker's Day is complete without a game of solitaire, right? So, and I mean, this is just to kind of demonstrate just how powerful this language is. You can do, I'm going to play an easy game. Is there anything I can do there? No, so just draw a card. Right, yeah, so you get the idea. So okay, now I can go and grab that ace, maybe. Select him, push. Yeah, so pretty cool. So this is another channel with a different MHEG program on it. And this is going to try and do a network connection. I can switch. Actually, you can kill the sound for this one. I don't know why it's all messed up on that channel. This is a pre-rolled demo transport stream that I downloaded from Avalpa, and they make a bunch of test tools. If we switch debugging on, you can see the message. Basically, it's trying to test if the network is present, because I'm not plugged into the internet, so we can't actually do a network test, but you can see that it is actually trying, okay? And if I press start, again, you can see so if you remember in my sample code, there was this URL. So what it would be doing now, if we had an internet connection, is connecting to that URL, downloading that transport stream, and streaming it. Yeah. So clearly I can just change that to my own URL, get it to connect to whatever service I like, and bingo. I think when I've been doing this testing, I suspect that stream's been sitting there for years and no one's looked at it. And suddenly in their logs, there's all these messages popping up that that transport stream's being collected. Because about 2 weeks ago, it stopped working. So I get a 404 not found now if I go to that stream. So it's kind of funny. So, okay, so the final one. So I'm just going to get into the tune menu before we start. I go past it. Yeah, okay. Oh, weird. Okay, this is where the demo gods do hate me. So these use their underruns from the HackRF. So it's saying it's not getting any data for some reason. So I'm just going to try that again. What the hell? Oh, okay, sorry, I'm being a dumbass. It happens. So I actually have to deliver the stream, surprise, surprise. So this is a live attack, so this is simulating what would be happening if I was man in the middling. So this first command would be receiving the original programming, throwing it into a FIFO, and then having manipulated it, stripped out the data stream and replaced it with my own. The second one is just adding timestamps to keep the stream happy. So if I run that again, there we go. Okay, so now we have data. So for this demo, I just used that transport role as my source, the demo role. If I was attacking you, obviously I would choose whatever channel I saw you watching, because it would be a live stream. So imagine you're sitting at home, you're watching TV, and this happens. Yep, so that was it for the demos. Thank you. Yeah. So as I said, all of the demos are in the slides, so when you want to have a play. So that's it. Any questions? No? Stunned silence. Where's the porn? No? Okay, well, you get an early lunch then.